Thank you very much. My name is Richard Jimerson. I'm with the Internet Society staff. And Paul and I are going to share this presentation. We're only going to take a couple of minutes. I want to let you know what the Internet Society is up to and how you can get involved and participate with what we're doing. And before I get started, I want to let you know right at the end of our presentation, we're going to do a raffle for the iPad mini. And all you need for an entry form for that is if you just take a business card or you write your name down on a little piece of paper or something like that. When Paul comes up and starts his portion of the presentation, I'm going to come around, I'm just going to collect those. And when Paul's done presenting, we're just going to pull one out, and somebody in this room will win the iPad mini. So, let me get started. Can you see my slides up there from this? Or let me try it again here. There we go. All right, excellent. So, just a bit about the Internet Society. Many of you probably haven't been introduced to the Internet Society yet. How many people here have actually been to an Internet Society event or are familiar with the Internet Society before you came in the room today? Raise your hand. So at least half the room is not familiar with the Internet Society. So I want to tell you a little bit about us. We are a nonprofit organization. We are global. We've got a staff of about 80 people, and they're all over the world. We have 3 offices. We have an office in Reston, Virginia. We have an office in Geneva, Switzerland, and we have an office in Singapore. And we have regional bureaus all throughout the world, on basically one per continent. And we have chapters all over the world. But our mission at the Internet Society is to promote the open development, evolution, and use of the Internet for the benefit of all people throughout the world. And we do that through some programs that we actually implement. We've been doing this for about 20 years. We just celebrated our 20-year anniversary this year. Our strategic objectives inside the organization is to foster an open and innovative and trusted Internet worldwide, to advance policies and strategies that strengthen the Internet's growth and evolution, to enable a vibrant and vital global community, to advance the Internet's future, and to empower people through unencumbered Internet use. We are all about a permission-free Internet that continues to grow and that eventually gets all of us online one day. We're not even close yet. There are a few billion people left to get online. So this is how we work. We have several different types of programs inside the organization. We have policy programs. We have a public policy team inside the organization, and they're very involved in what's going on inside the Internet governance space, what's going on inside regions, and what's also going on internationally, for instance, at the ITU. The Internet Society has a very, very strong public policy team. We also do development work. Around the globe, Internet's not the same as it is here in the United States, where we are today. There are several countries around the world that don't even have an exchange point inside their borders. So some of the activities that we engage in places like Africa or certain parts of South America or Southeast Asia, certain parts of Europe, is we actually go out and we do things that help the development of the Internet. We help communities start exchange points. We help communities with their training on how to actually build out networks. And we actually speak to governments about what the regulatory environment's like in other places in the world that fosters growth of the Internet. We do those types of things. And we also do technology work. And I'm going to focus in a little bit on some of the technology work that we do inside the Internet Society organization. One of the things, we are the organizational home of the Internet Engineering Task Force. Now, we provide support to the IETF. We are not the IETF in any way, but we simply provide support to the operations of the IETF, where the Internet's standards are made. And we've been doing that for a very long time. We promote open standards, and we have an open stand initiative that's currently active right now that you can go find by going to the Internet Society website that looks forward into the future and sees the world continuing to use open standards, to move away from the temptation to move into a walled garden stance or something like that. So there's some great work there. We engage with stakeholders all over the world through events like this one. We have other types of meeting series, and we're constantly doing roundtables and reaching out to the technology community. And we have a program named Deploy 360 that's pertinent to what's going on here this week with the topic of IPv6, and I'm going to describe that just a little bit. But first, one of the more recent things that we've done in the technology space that you might be familiar with were the World IPv6 Day events and the World IPv6 launch events over the last 2 years. Now, I do need to say that the Internet Society did not make these things happen. It's actually the operators and the content companies and the other organizations that participated over the years that made this happen. The Internet Society was simply a convener, a facilitator of this type of activity, and we helped those organizations come together and actually make that happen. So when you went through World IPv6 Day and you went through World IPv6 launch, it was those organizations that were participating that actually made all of that happen. And all we did is tie it together a little bit as a facilitator organization, and that's it. But you can see this type of work in the future coming from the Internet Society as well, so please keep your eyes open in that space. Another thing that we're doing is rather new. It just started last year. It's the Internet Society Deploy 360 program. So the Internet Society had gone around and talked to people all over the world about what's taking all the time with IPv6 and things like DNS security extensions. Why aren't those getting deployed? And we got some very interesting answers. But we also talked to people that had made the decision to move forward and actually deploy those technologies, where they were getting their information. And the most common answer that we got, if we asked the question IPv6, if you've never been exposed to IPv6 and you're going to deploy that for the very first time, what is it that you're going to do to get the information that you need? And the most common answer was, I go to a search engine and I type in learn IPv6. So we went and we started doing that ourselves. And it was quite interesting. When you go and you type in learn IPv6 into a search engine, you get millions of answers. And on the first couple pages of answers, you get information sometimes that's not only unhelpful, but that could damage your business if you follow that advice. Not because the information wasn't good when it was put there, but because it was published 11 and 12 years ago, and it no longer applies to the way people are doing deployments today. So one of the things that we decided to do at the Internet Society is to put up a portal that actually would help people with gaining information about their deployments in new technologies or technologies that were new to them. The audience of this is not internet service providers and content companies and enterprises that go to NANOG meetings or that go to the event that's happening over the next 2 days or that go to the IETF. They already know where to get this information. But when you think of everyone else, small providers, medium-sized providers, smaller enterprises, and about where they get their information, we are providing this for them primarily. So we've got 3 topics that we're covering there right now. One of them is IPv6, one of them is DNS security extensions, and the other one is routing. We're talking about routing resiliency and routing security. We just added that topic over the last couple of months. We have roadmaps for each of these technology topics, and we're actively working with professionals inside the industry to gain information from them and publish it here in this completely open space. There's no paywall here. You don't have to be a member of the Internet Society to access it. It's open for everyone. And we're reaching a point where we have enough content where we're actually going to go in and start translating this into other languages as well. So if you're one of the folks that are going to do your deployment for the first time, or if you know people that need information, need a source of information, please include this resource amongst some of the other ones that you know of, like from the regional internet registries and some other entities. Some other areas of work that we're getting ready to do inside the technology space from this program. I talked to you about what we were doing with Deploy 360, but we're also looking for ways to improve operational feedback to the IETF. So what I just talked about with Deploy 360 was going from the IETF to smaller and medium-sized operators or enterprises. You know, instead of having to go dig for all of the RFCs, here's a resource where you can just grab the information and go get started. We're also looking for ways to improve the information that's going from the operators back into the IETF to help inform the standards process. And we're also looking to an operator-to-operator piece of work, and we're exploring the idea of creating a global repository for best current operational practices. That's work that's already taking place in some of the regions, including here in North America. There's a North American project that's very active, and in fact, Chris Grundeman is one of the leaders inside of that project right now. But what we're looking to do is create a global repository that takes information from the regional level, promotes it globally, and translates it into other languages to make it useful worldwide. Jan Zors of the Internet Society is actually leading that project for ISOC, and he will be giving a presentation tomorrow describing this in more detail on the program agenda at the summit. So please show up for that and hear what we have to say there. And with that, I'm going to invite my friend and colleague, Paul Brigner, to come up for the remainder of their presentation, and I'm going to start collecting some of your business cards and pieces of paper with your name on it.
Thank you, Richard. That's outstanding. And this has been an outstanding program. So I'm Paul Brigner, the Regional Bureau Director for North America for the Internet Society. And I'm going to talk a little bit about what the regional bureaus do and the activities that go on in the North American region for the Internet Society. So as you can see on the map, we have 5 regional bureaus, and they all work with their chapters and their members in their region to really focus on the issues that are important in those areas, and they are different, and I think it's very important that we are regional and that we do address the differences in the internet around the world. So, okay, next slide, I'm sorry. So membership, this gives you an idea about our membership with the size of it. We have more than 55,000 individual members, 92 global chapters, 130 organizational members. And if I have only one ask for you today, it is that if you are not already a member of the Internet Society, you really should join. I hope that you will join. You can be either a supporting member, or there's a free category of membership, and you can be a member of the global organization, or you can be a member of a chapter. There's all sorts of options for you. And obviously, this production today is a joint production with the ISOC Colorado chapter and the North American Regional Bureau. And as you've heard, it's the INET. We put on a few of these each year. So this is the kind of activity that, as a member and a member of a chapter, you could be involved in. So please do get engaged. So chapters play a key role. I've already mentioned it today with this INET, but this gives you just some of the activities: educational events, public policy issue advocacy, network events, engaging and energizing members through a common goal and vision, and technical workshop and training classes. So hopefully you're getting a feel for maybe all of that today, but different chapters do have different areas of focus. So we have some very active chapters aside from the Colorado chapter. We have a very active chapter in New York. We have one in DC, San Francisco, 2 in Canada, and they all have kind of a unique purpose that they define. Chapters are actually independent nonprofit organizations that set their mission that is consistent with the Internet Society's global mission and vision. So chapters really do play a very important role in making sure that the local issues, the very local issues, are addressed, and it's a great way to engage. So just to wrap up, we do want you to be involved. I'll repeat my request: become a member of the Internet Society, internetsociety.org. It's very simple there to join. I want to thank the Colorado chapter today for working with me to put on this event. They really did. This is the easiest INET I've ever had to work on, because they really just put the thing together so well, and did so. Chris, Augie, others in the chapter, it's just been a pleasure to work with you on this. I hope you all have enjoyed this event today. I think that it's been fabulous content that is going to be available on an archive. So if you want to refer any of your colleagues to it, we're going to make it available on both live stream, and then we'll clean it up a little bit. It'll be available on YouTube. So please refer people to look at the archive. And the day is not over, because now that we've had all this talking, it's of course time for cocktails and refreshments and networking. We have a very nice networking event just down the hall, all the way down the hall, and I hope you all will come to that. And the final thing I have to say, and I have to make some other thank yous, is to thank Richard Jimerson. Richard, with his Deploy 360 program and all the content he brought and the support he brought to this, was just wonderful. Again, so helpful. And Nicole Armstrong from the Internet Society staff was also very helpful in pulling this together. So that's it. I want to thank you again for being here, and I look forward to your engagement in the Internet Society.